Hey everybody, Mr. Keenan here. Just got done measuring the outdoor classrooms and I just got done with my lunch break. So this is attempt number two. I deleted my first one because it was too hot and I had to take my sweatshirt off. But I went out and you can't really see the map on here, but I created a small map of both classrooms because I think that it should not be that complicated to be able to create these. So for the assignment, we're actually going to be creating both of them in Google SketchUp. You're going to go to SketchUp for Schools. Just a reminder how to do that. You go to the Google Apps, and then you look for SketchUp for Schools on here. But since I already have it up, you're going to come to this home screen like this. When you are creating a new one, you're going to do Create New, Feet in Inches. I always like to get rid of this person just because I don't really want to have that. We're going to title it Outdoor Classrooms. So how I did that, you can click on it. Sometimes you need to double click. We're going to type in Outdoor. I want you to put outdoor classrooms created by and then your name. So you have your name on it when you're there. Then you need to select where it goes. I'm going to select here, SketchUp files. That is highlighted now, so I'm going to go like this. Okay. I took a better picture of the outdoor classroom down below, but here's what we're going to do. I'm using a mouse right now, so I can manipulate it how I want it to be. I want this part here to be like that. So we're going to start out by making a perimeter or a border around the outside of it. And if we use the rectangle tool, it's going to create a gray square on here, which is fine. You're going to start there. We're going to go up into the right with our mouse. If I move this out of the way, you can see put this up here like this. So I just clicked on the screen. Let me grab that tool again. Control Z. So the fifth tool down is the rectangle tool right here. We'll be using this. We'll be using the radius for the circle in a little bit. So we're going to click once. We're going to move it out. Whoops, I don't like. Why did it change? Escape. For some reason it's changing that, which I'll show you how to adjust that in a second. So we have, we're going to do the White Pines classroom first. We basically have a rectangle on this one that is 24 feet, 24, and then an apostrophe, 24 feet, comma space, and then it's 16 feet wide. Oops, what just happened there? Reason that happened like that is I didn't mark out what measurements were. So instead of being 16 feet, it went 16 inches because inches is the default. So if we did that again, 24 apostrophe, comma space, 16, and I forgot to put the apostrophe before. So now we should have a rectangle that looks like this. And actually, for the sake of the picture, the numbers are flipped. Escape, Control Z. So let's try this again. We're going to go 16, comma space, 24, apostrophe. Make sure you do apostrophe on each of the 16 and the 14. Okay. Next, we're going to switch over to the arrow tool. This allows us to select and delete. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to delete this. Okay. The reason we are using this rectangle outline is when I measured it, when I went out and just measured, I measured from the outside diameter or the outside edge of the material, the outside edge of this side. So our configuration isn't exactly perfect, but it will definitely suit our purpose. And so we have, once you create the area, now we're going to create the material that goes inside that area. The fire ring in the dead center, which I will show you how to create right now. We're going to go to the midpoint on the top line. We're going to draw it all the way down to the other side like this. Then we're going to find the midpoint here and bring it across like this. This is our dead center of the rectangle. That cross section where those two lines intersect, because we use the midpoint here and a midpoint here, that's going to find your dead center of your circle. So we're going to hit escape. Then we're going to use the select tool again, and we're going to get rid of the solid lines. All I'm doing is clicking on them, and when they highlight, you hit delete, and then it goes away. Our fire ring is approximately 30 inches, so we're just going to do a 30-inch fire ring for very simple purposes, because we used, when we created the fire ring on both sites, we used the 30-inch rake as an example. And maybe we'll make it 32 inches just so that we have a little bit more. So you're going to click on the center, and because this is a radius, we're going to be using half of the distance. So if we use a 32-inch, if the diameter is 32 inches, we're going to be typing in 16 because 16 is the radius of a 32-inch diameter circle. 16. So you're just going to type in 16 and then you're going to hit enter. Okay. Now hit escape. Now I need to delete all of the areas here. If you want to leave this, let's delete the lines. We use those lines to help create where the fire ring is. I'm just going to leave the fire pit solid like that, so we have that there. Then we're going to create the stumps. Now on this one, there are 12 stumps for seats, and there are 3 benches that we'll create. First, we're going to create the stumps first. We're going to use that radius tool that we just used for this. We're going to say that the stumps are 18 inches in diameter. So if they're 18 inches in diameter, that would give them a radius of 9 inches. And then we're going to hit enter. Now, we need to make this, we need to make that into a stump. So we're going to grab a hold of it with the push-pull tool. The push-pull tool is right below the shape. So here's the shape tool, here's the push-pull tool. We're going to make our 9-inch, a radius of 9 inches. So we're just going to type in 9 and hit enter. Now we have a radius. Then we're going to grab our push-pull to make this 3D. We're going to make this 16 inches tall, 1/6, like that. Now, we want to duplicate this, but we also don't want this to change. To make it so that it doesn't change, we're going to go like this. We're going to go to the highlight, the arrow tool. We're going to select it like that. Right click, make component. And we're going to type stump tool. You can type in stump chair, whatever you want to type in to name it. Hit OK. Now that is saved. Now I can grab a hold of that and I can start to move it around. But we need 12 of these. The best way to do it is to go like this. We're going to highlight it. We're going to do Control C. We're going to do Control V and then click on the screen. Hit escape. Highlight them both again. I'm going to get my highlighting tool here. I'm going to do Control C, Control V. Went from 2 to 4. If I were to highlight them again like this, Control C, Control V, and then you place them on the screen. We'll do it one more time. Control V. Okay. So we have 12 stumps that are ready to go. We need to make a bench. We'll leave these here. We'll worry about moving these around in just a little bit. So we're going to click off the screen to get them unselected. And so we'll put these in place once we get the benches created. So the best way to do a bench is to create the profile first. So I'm going to get kind of lower like this. And we're going to create the profile first by going like this. We're going to draw a line straight across. We're going to make 16 inches long. So you're going to grab the pencil and create a line that's 16 inches. Then we're going to find the midpoint of that, and we're going to go down perpendicular to that. we're going to go down 6 inches. And we know it's perpendicular because we started on the red line and now it's the blue line. So blue lines, when you're drawing it, means that it's vertical, it means it's up and down. The red line is horizontal, and then the green line is going away from you if you're looking at the XYZ axis like that. So we want to go 6 inches. We want to make our line 6 inches. We're going to come down. We're going to type in 6. We're going to put enter. Now, we just created a way to make this. We just created a point that we can use. I think it's this one we got to use like this. We go like this, then like that. Yep, that'll work. Show you that again. Starting from scratch, from Stump. I'm going to create a horizontal line that's red, and we're going to type in 16. Then we will zoom in. We're going to hit escape. We still have our pencil. We're going to find the midpoint of that, and we're going to go down. Remember, we want it to be the blue, not any other. We want the horizontal line to be red when we draw it. We want the blue line to be, or the perpendicular line to that, we want that to be blue when we draw it. Type in 6. We're going to hit enter. And then we're going to hit escape to drop that tool. Hit escape. Then we're going to go to this second arc that's underneath the pencil. We're going to click one spot. We're going to click another spot, and then the third one, you're going to run your pencil down the edge like that. Now we just created a half of a log like that. We're going to hit escape. And realistically, if that's half of a log, our log was 16 inches long, which means that this, if I did this correctly, this should not be 6. This should actually be 8 inches. Now let's create the arc again. I'm doing this for the first time, kind of cold without thinking about anything. So now we have it more correct. Click off of that once you have it. So you're 16 inches across, you're 8 inches down. We're going to click on that blue line and we're going to delete it. Then we're going to use the push pull. We're going to go out 6 feet. So if you type in 72, which is 6 feet, like that. Okay. Now we want to make this so this does not move. We don't want this to change. To make our top to our bench, we're going to select it like this. Maneuver your screen so you're only selecting this, the top to your bench. Then you're going to right click and you're going to type in make component. Then you're going to type in bench top. Or you can log bench or whatever you want to put. I'm going to put bench top for mine. Now that's created as a component. Now I need three of these, but we also need the logs that go underneath that. We'll create the logs that go underneath it in just a second. So we're gonna now that this is highlighted, we want to select this one. We're gonna do Control C and then Control V, Control V. Now you have 3 benches. We have our 3 benches. We have our 12 logs. We just need to make the small ones that go underneath there, and then we will be able to place the logs where we want them to go. So in order to make the logs that go underneath, we're going to grab the radius tool again, and we're going to say that these have a radius of, let's say, 4 inches, because if you have a radius of 4 inches, your diameter is going to be 8 inches. That way 8 plus 8 is 16. That way the tops of our benches will be the same height as our logs. So we're going to do 4. We're going to hit enter. That means that this should be an 8-inch log. We're going to make these logs, we'll make them 16 inches long. We're going to click this. We're going to go like this. We click on this, and we're going to go 16 on that. We're going to hit enter. Okay. Next, we don't want this to change. So we're going to highlight the whole thing. And what are we going to do? Make it a component. This won't change. So we're going to type base bench. Base for benches. Base for bench, we'll call that. Now, this needs to be rotated from 90 degrees or from from vertical, it needs to be rotated 90 degrees down so it sits flat on the ground. In order to do that, so that we made it a component, we can rotate it. We're going to click on this. We're going to click on this rotation tool. Okay. And if you hover over top of this, you'll have a protractor that will come up. The protractor is showing you the surface in which you're going to be rotating it. So if I were to look at this, and if it were to be flat, so if an object like this, let's say we have my pop here, and if I put the mouse on it and the protractor comes up on top, all you're going to do is you're going to be spinning it. You want it so that the protractor is on the side of it so that it will rotate how you need it to rotate. So we need to hover over top like this till the black is fine. We're going to click the top, then we're going to click on the bottom. Realistically, it's best to, if you want it to pivot down when you're starting this, when you click on it, it's better to click on the bottom than the top, because your first click that you do, it's going to pivot off of that point. So because I click the top, it's actually going to be rotating up, which is fine because we can move it around however we need to. And now you're just going to rotate it like this. You can type in 90 just like that. And now we have one that is somewhat ready to go. Next thing we need to do is we need to rotate it. Let's get it on the blue line now from here. We need to go to here. We want to try to make it perpendicular with our logs now. Now we have it laying down. We're going to hit escape. And I know some people might have problems with that. Just watch that part of the video and back up and watch it again. So in order to rotate it, you basically have to have the part selected by making a component. Just by clicking on it, once it's a component and you click on it, it will rotate with that. So then once it's highlighted, then you go to your rotation tool, do that, and then your protractor will pop up, and that's how you'll do that. Now, we want to make 2 of these for every bench, so we need 5 more. What you're going to do is you're going to do control, let's get out of the protractor. So you got your arrow, it's selected. We're going to hit Control C, then Control V, place it in, Control V, place it in, Control V, place it in, Control V, place it in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more. Control V, put it in. So now we have 6. What we're going to do now is we're going to move these underneath the logs, and then we'll make it a group, or you could make it a component in itself. So you take that component and you make it a new component on it. That will lock everything together, making it a group. It does the exact same thing. Now, in order to move these, you have to have a point selected that you want it to be placed. And so you're going to go to the move tool, which is right here, the move tool. We're going to try to select on the center. And this part gets a little tricky because depending on where you put your mouse, you see how it kind of jumps down? If I come down here and try to move it, this is one of the hardest things to figure out, is getting your part to move where you want it to move. So right now, I believe, yep, I'm underneath there. Good. Hopefully it'll move back to where I want it to be. We can put lines on our components to help lock it in. I think that's what we need to do. Because we want to put this in a specific place. We need to, right now I'm just rotating it around. We're going to put that down there right now. In order to get it so that we have a specific point that we put these in, because we want them to be slightly in, based off of the pictures that you'll have on here as a reference. You're going to go to the bottom of the bench and you'll draw down. You want to be parallel with the edges. Let's go in 8 inches. 8 seems to be a good number for us. And then so type in 8 and then hit enter. Whoops, Control Z. That moved. Put a grab pencil again. Come here. Make sure on the green line, type in 8, hit enter. We're going to do that from each end on every log in the middle. Try to be in the middle. Follow this line down this way. Click on that. Come this way. 8. Hit escape. Go to the next one. Green line, 8. Enter. Escape, zoom out. I'm using a mouse. If you have access to a mouse, I suggest getting it because it makes SketchUp a lot easier. Hit escape. We're going to come to this point. We're going to come down. 8. Enter. Escape. Run on this one. And these lines that we're drawing are mainly there. Really, the only point of drawing these lines is so when you're putting your logs in place, it will give it a spot to lock in. 8 inches. Zoom out. Come here. I don't like the placement of that one. We need to change where that one is. The one on the other side. 8. Enter. Escape. Delete. Grab this. Escape. We're going to delete the line that we don't want. Hopefully those lines that we just put will be helpful in moving these around. So we need to get to the top of these here. When you move these, you got to select a point. So we're going to do the midpoint and the top dead center. So the midpoint there. Then we'll rotate it down like this. Now it's going to be looking for a point for us to put these in. Let's see how that did. Yep, that's perfect. Then we're going to go to the top of this one again. And then rotate it down, snap it in. Just like that. There's your bench. Whoop, that one's not all the way connected. We'll have to go like this. Now it's all connected. And I know that our logs they're slightly in just a little bit, and you can move them if you want to. If you can just leave them just like that if you want to, that's fine. So now we have a bench. We need to do the rest for these. So we're going to find the midpoint, just like that, and then we're going to move this endpoint just like that. We're going to rotate up again. That's exactly where we want it to be. Good. Okay. That's just the last one. Then we'll make those components. Last one. If you don't get this right away, don't feel terrible. I've been using SketchUp for 10 years now, so that's how I know it so well. Pretty much any CAD program, once you learn it, you can use it to help with other ones as well. Now we have our benches. We want to make these individual groups or components themselves. So you got to you have to angle your screen so that you're only able to highlight just one of them. And they are crooked a little bit, but I'm not worried about that. If you can get it to look like this, that's good. Just get it to look similar to that, you'll be good. So we're going to go like this. We're going to get our selection tool. I'm just going to select the group that I have here. I'm going to right click, and you could make it a group or you can make it a component. We're going to say bench 1. We're going to hit OK. Now if I grab that, everything should stay together now. If I grab that and move it, yep, it should stay together. If I go to rotate it, which we're going to need to rotate these, they should stay together now. Everything should, yep, it all rotates together because it's all locked in. Okay, escape. There you go. If I were to do the same thing with these, if I zoom out, and if I were to try to do the same thing with this, because I haven't any movement I do in these, whoops, it's still selected on that. Escape, escape, escape. Click off. If I were to try to move any of these, watch what happens. It leaves the logs there and the lines there because I haven't made it a component yet. So what we need to do is we need to make these components as well. We just label that one bench 1. This will be bench 2. Whoops, escape. Control Z. On this. Then we're going to go to right click, make component, bench 2. 2. Then we're going to highlight this whole thing here like that. Then right click, make component, bench 3. Now that just locked all of these individually together. Now you can move them around and start placing things where they go. Okay, so now here's basically how this is set up. This bench is almost right where it needs to be, this one right here. We're going to click the move tool down here. That's the fourth one from the bottom. You have to change it so it's the arrows pointing out and across cross section. So we're going to grab hold of this. We just need to put it on the inside of this perimeter right here like that. Whoops. It's on the, we want to do the rotating tool. We want to do this one. Why is it doing that? I need to have it move. There you go. Just move it inside the perimeter. So we have a bench here. We have a bench down here, and we have a bench approximately like right here. So they're not perfectly placed across from each other. This one we're going to need to rotate 90 degrees. So we're going to click here. We're going to rotate it. We'll start in this corner, go to this corner. Oops, escape. We need to click off of that so that one's not highlighted anymore. We want to highlight this one. Now we're going to do the rotation from here to here, about like that. Hit escape. Then we're going to go just to the move tool like this. We'll move this one to right here like that. And notice right now some of them are below. So you might need to grab a hold of it and move it up a little bit. Yep, just like that. It's going to take a little bit of time to play around with it to get everything perfect. So just be patient with it. There's a way you could use that same method that we did to create the place where those logs were. Escape. The place where those logs were, remember we drew a line to give it a specific point for it to lock in. You can do that exact same thing we did before. We're going to move this one. Right there is good. Now we're still on the move tool, so now we can start moving these, putting these in place. We had 4 in between each one. And so I'm not looking for a specific measurement, just some, whoops, I got the rotating on there. So we gotta have 4 in between each of these. Just like that. I'll show you one thing we can do with the fire pit. So this one over here like this. These over here like that. So just kind of try to keep it inside the perimeter is kind of what we're looking to do. And just like that, we have the White Pines classroom. Basically, it's pretty basic, but it works. The White Pines outdoor classroom is done. Now, what I would do if I were you guys, and what it kind of bothers me that it's not spaced out right, so I'm going to go like this and move these around a little bit. I'm going to pull these out this way. Then I'll pull the benches down just a little bit so we can space out. We'll leave that one right where it is, and we'll put these out here like this. We'll kind of space them out a little bit better. Right on the edge, just like that. That's why it looks different. That's why they look like different sizes, because they're not placed on the same plane, so you got to move them up. Use the bottom. Click on the bottom and then bring it onto the line. Click on the bottom and bring them up to the line just like that. That will help. Okay, then we're going to move this one. Click on the bottom of it. You click on the bottom and then bring it over to the line. It should lift it up to where it needs to be. Zoom out. So we'll put this one like this. And we'll just move this one over here like this. Click on the bottom of it and then bring it up to the line. And I'll put it so that they're all kind of on the same height. There you go. And then we can spread these out a little bit more. Hold the bottom and put it up like to the edge of the line here like that. That way it's in where it needs to be. Move that one in just a little bit. Move this one over just a little bit. Move this one over just a little bit. Move this one over just a little bit. Look at that. That's better. So it's basically, what we just did right there is basically this picture. It's not 100% the same, but it's pretty close. You got your 4 benches. This is almost more of a triangle, but we used a rectangle for SketchUp, so it's just like that. So it should look pretty close. There are ways to add different components to it. Like if you came over here, you can add different geographical things, and we could put a tree in right here. One other thing I thought about as I was just working here, we could go like this and raise this up like 6 inches and then hit enter, and then click on the center of this and hit delete. So it's now it's an actual firing, just like that. This one is done. The next one's going to be quite a bit easier because it's more of a circle and it's only one object. We don't have to make these. We'll just use our components here. So what we'll do is we will come, I'm going to draw it kind of over here in this area because it's kind of in proportion to where the other one was. So we'll make a circle right here. I think the circle I have is 31 feet in diameter. So 31 divided by 2 would be 15 and a half. So 15.5. I put an apostrophe like that. This is the outside radius or the outside circumference of that circle. We're going to hit escape. Then we're going to, hopefully, we'll be able to find the center. One thing we could do to start out with this is you could go like this. We're going to start with a pencil. We're going to draw a line that's 31 feet long. 31 apostrophe, enter. Then we will take this, take your circumference here, find the midpoint, draw it out. 15.5 apostrophe, enter. Then we have another radius on the inside of this, another circle on the inside of this that's going to be 15 feet in diameter. So we need to go 7.5, 7.5. This is there's an inner circle in here. Whoops, I need to put an apostrophe. We'll start in the midpoint. We're going to go 7.5 apostrophe, hit enter. Then we're going to have a 30-inch circle on the inside of that for firing. This will be 30. We did 32 inches before. We're going to do, so this will be 16. Hit enter. And we're going to hit escape. Then we'll do the select. We're going to do the select right here. We're going to click on the center line right here. Delete it. Center line, delete it. Zoom in. Center line, delete it. Center line, delete it. Center line, delete it. We're going to delete this one. We're going to delete this one. We're going to leave this one. If we want to make this a fire ring, might as well do it right now. Move it up 6 inches. Enter. Then we're going to click on the center. I'm doing this really quickly. If you want to slow it down, use the playback speed to slow it down. So now we have 28. There are 28 stumps in this one. You basically have the setup of how this is set up. We have 28 stumps and we're going to make them the same size as we did before. You could do one of two things. You could go copy one, or you could just draw another one and paste it over here. So we said the diameter of these were 18 inches, so we're going to have a 9-inch diameter. We're going to hit enter. Then we're going to do push pull and bring it up to how much? 16 inches. Then we're going to highlight it. We're going to make component. Stumps tool 2, the reason you have you can't name it the same thing something else is named because we already have one named that, the Stumps tool. So we need to do this 28 times. Now, remember how we duplicated it before? Highlight, Control C, Control V, sit on there, hit escape. We're going to highlight them both again. Control C, Control V. Now we're at 4. We're going to double it again, highlight them again. Control C, Control V. Now we're at 8 of them. You highlight this, Control C, Control V. There's 16. There's 24. There's 32, but we only need 28 of these, so you can subtract 4 of these by doing this. We're going to use the highlight tool. We're going to zoom into just 4 of them, highlight them, and we're going to hit deleted. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do, I'll place these in the center like this. So we're going to go to the move tool. And remember, if you select on the bottom, it will keep them up on the ring a little bit better. So if you select the bottom, make sure you're not on the protractor tool. So we're gonna, these will be the outside of these stumps should be approximately on the outs or on the inside of that ring, just like that. So we're gonna put one there. We have another one. Oops, hit escape. You gotta make sure you click off so it doesn't get highlighted again. Control Z, Control Y. Control Y does redo. I'm gonna click off of that. Now I'm gonna grab another one. I'm gonna move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. It should be approximately across away from that last one, which I might need to move it around a little bit. Okay. The orbit tool will be your friend, but it also might get you confused sometimes. Let me bring that down to here. Oops, we're too low. That's about across from there. Now we need to do one here and one here because we had 4 of them in the middle. Oops, Control Z. Escape. Click off. Click on that one. It's just going to take just a little bit to move all these around where you need them to be. Just like that. We'll click on the next one. Hit escape. Click off. We're going to click on this again. Move tool. We'll do them on this side right here. You see how I changed that? You see where that one went? It went down quite a bit. So that means we got to adjust. We're going to come over here. Grab a hold of the bottom of it. Hit escape. Click off of it. Click on this one. Click the move tool. Click on that. We're going to move it up here like that. We need to move it over just a little bit. Still should be okay. That looks pretty decent. Okay, so now we got to place these all the way around the outside of the circle, but the stumps will be on the inside. The outside edge of these stumps will be on the inside of this big circle here. This is going to be somewhat of a challenge, but I know that you can do it. So you just got to select this, hit escape because that's still on, click off of it, click on another one. We just need to move all of these in. Just like that. Notice I'm selecting on the bottom of them. You gotta make sure you click on the arrow after you get it placed. You have to click on that arrow and then click off the screen, otherwise it will continue to do that. And get out of these compasses. Okay, we're gonna put this over here. Now what I've learned when I went down and measured, about every 2 feet is where these are gonna end up being. So you might be adjusting these quite a bit. That might take the longest is try to get these spaced out evenly. But essentially you see the part. If you want to leave the video now and start working on it, you can. I'm gonna finish this video by finishing the rest of this. Escape. Gotta remember to click off each time, Keenan. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click on move. It's just gonna be a process that's gonna take a little while to get done because you got to keep moving things around, and they might not move exactly the way you want them to move the first time right away. So you having that line there kind of will help you set them. We're gonna hit escape. Look how does hitting escape drop the? It does, I think. Escape. If you hit escape while you're still in the move tool, it will drop the stools. So we gotta get these all the way around. We want to space them out pretty evenly if we can. But if you use that line, that one's too close. I could think of a way that we could, if you wanted to, do this in a way where you're gonna make it exactly even and find your points. Think about cutting up a pizza. So if we were to take this circle and we were to cut it up, I want to show you something. Here's a way you could do it to make it perfectly balanced. Grab your line tool from here all the way across through the center of the circle. And then go find that midpoint from here, like this. Then hit escape. Then go from here across, escape. Now go from escape, midpoint to here. Oops, that's not spaced out right. This is gonna drive me nuts, but since I started doing it now, it's got me thinking I should do it. Okay. After all of that, after moving all that stuff around, let's get rid of this paint because you can paint these. You could make them so that they look like wood. We're gonna go like this. The midpoint. Midpoint. Why does that look like that? It looks weird. Escape. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. Control Y. 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 Oh, Control Z. We have 28. No, we still have 32. I gotta delete some of those. Now I messed myself up. I'm still gonna continue running the video because I don't want to stop it. Now I got myself frustrated because I thought of a concept that is exactly what you should probably do, but it's going to drive me nuts because it needs to be perfect. Hit escape. That should be the midpoint of this one. Let's just do something quick. Let's do from the midpoint this way. Nope, that is the right way. It just looks weird. Okay, I'm going to hit escape. We're going to delete that line. It's off to the edge right here. So with these, you could place the ones in the middle now. Might as well do that. Actually, no, let's not do that yet. Let's not do that yet. Arc midpoint. Should be right in the center, just like that. Escape. Arc midpoint. What midpoint is that? I don't know why that looks so weird. That was not the arc midpoint. I need to go back. That's correct. Control Y. That's good. There you go. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 8 slices, obviously. Come through here like this. That one's cut in half. Let's do this one. Where's my midpoint? That's not the midpoint. It can't be. I think I'm seeing something now. No, I should have 16. 1, 2. It's still not spaced out even. Something's wrong. Following that, this is arc midpoint. I don't understand how that's the arc midpoint because these two slices look the same. And these two slices look bigger. It's not the arc midpoint. It can't be. So now, how many do we have? We're going to use this one as a marker. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have 16 lines. We can go up to 32. That should be enough spaces for us to go through. So now I think I want to hit this. I'm going to delete all of these spaces. Just going to click on them and delete. Click delete, click delete, click delete, click delete, click delete, click delete. It might help, it might make it worse. We'll see how it goes. I have no idea how long I've been recording. Probably for an hour or so. I have no idea. This video might be too big. We'll see how it goes. It's like a bicycle wheel. This might throw everybody off, which it probably will. This is probably a stupid idea. But my brain is like, okay. I'll try to take care of that in the center in a little bit. Move these now. Let's do the 4 in the middle first, which we can delete all of these other lines that we don't want. that one, delete this one. That one, delete this one. Keep that one, delete that one, delete this one. The reason we kept those 4 lines on the inside is so that we can put these, we're going to move these so that they go, so these guys are placed right here. And zoom in a little bit better. Let's grab all of you and put you right here. Then we're going to zoom out. I'm going to grab a hold of this one here. Hit escape. I forgot to hit escape. Didn't move that? No, I didn't. Hit escape. Now I can zoom in. It'll be right there. Zoom out. We're going to put this one right here. We're going to zoom in. Using my scroller on my mouse to do this, by the way. If you're wondering how I'm zooming in and out so quickly. If you have a mouse pad, it's going to be a little bit harder to do all of the things that I'm doing. So I don't know, I might cut this out. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in or not. Hit escape. Okay, well, this one right there. Okay, so I got those set up. Then we're going to start moving these around now. Remember, we want to put these on the inside of the circle if we can. Like that. As close to the inside as you can. Hit escape. Be careful when you're grabbing these. Make sure that they go like that. They're about every 2 feet. If you wanted to, another thing you could do is just trace around the outside of the circle and go put every 2 feet on that outside. Should be close. Another way to do it is to, this is what actually got me thinking about it, is once you place one over here, put one on the other side of the circle right here like that. This way it'll be balanced this way. Come here. Whoops. This one was supposed to be more simple, but it seems more complicated because I made it more complicated. I'm apologizing for that right now. Sorry, everybody. It'll be cool when it's done. Once we get rid of all the stuff we don't need. So we put one over there. We're going to put this one right here. So we got there. We're going to do in the halfway between. There's might be the better way to do it. And you might not want to draw those stupid lines, but start on, what I mean by it is, just so you can see the whole thing. So start here, go to the other side, then start here, go to the other side, then go in between those two. It's like you're cutting it up the exact same way, but it would make it so that you can, wait, we did that one. We're going to do this one over here. I already have some place that's kind of screwing me up. Do one here. And you can make the adjustments. I'm going to make the adjustments to make them all, the final adjustments to kind of spread them out a little bit better. And to make sure that they're all on the same plane. So we'll make final adjustments to get it all so it's all in the center. Try to fill in the gaps where there's spaces. Okay. If you get it looking somewhat something like this, You can make final adjustments by just kind of going in and pushing them in just a little bit, just like that. Just keep zooming in. It looks like little marshmallows, don't they? Escape, escape. Get out of that tool. Push it in just a little bit. In just a little bit. Push it in just a little bit. Oops, escape. Escape. Push in just a little bit, just like that. I think it looks pretty good. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I think we have, that's exactly should be the number we need now. Now, what I would do when I'm done is to zoom into this. And this, to get rid of all this, we're going to use this eraser tool. How I'm using the eraser tool is you click on the screen, you click and hold, and then as it drags across, when the lines turn blue, that means it's going to delete it. Don't delete your logs. Look at that. We have a fire pit, an outdoor classroom just like the ones down there. And if we zoom out, find the other one, there it is. We have this one too. Okay. So that's that. After all of that monkeying around with the stuff that I probably shouldn't have done, those are the two classrooms right there, just like that. When you get done, I want you to take a screenshot of them. But another thing would be good is to take your tape measure down here. You can use this dimensioning tool, and we can go like this. We can go for dimensioning tool right here, like that. We can click on the outside of this to the outside of this. I don't know if that works or not. It's hard to do it with this, with the screen I've got running right now. So don't worry about dimensioning. Just make it zoom out so you can see the two classrooms like that. And there you go. Do your best. Try to get one done. If you can get one done, get the other one done. If you get both of them done, that's even better. Just try it and see what happens. But there are the two outdoor classrooms. One right here and one like this. I'll do a screenshot of this one. Control print screen. And this will be part of the assignment window also. So there you go. I'm going to stop